Hey.
How you doing? Great to see you.
That time of year.
Yep, of course.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Kentucky undefeated,
Yeah.
34-0 heading into the NCAA tournament. Obviously, the narrative has been the pursuit of perfection. How do you define perfection?
I don't think you can play a perfect basketball game any more than you can do anything perfectly. But these guys are coming pretty close.
You haven't always been the favorite. What's harder, maybe to be the favorite or to be the underdog?
It's nice being just a little bit of the underdog because you have less pressure on you. On the other hand, there's a reason they're the favorite. They're a really good team.
Well, they were a #1 seed. What kind of seed do you think you were?
Oh, I was definitely a 3rd or 4th seed, but I was scrappy.
All right, let's get to the picks here. Right. We're going to start here in the Midwest, where Kentucky is. And you did, by the way, have a 12-5 upset before Maryland advanced. You like Buffalo, Bobby Hurley?
He was not a big guy, but he was tough and scrappy, and that's reflected in his team. They play great D, so I'm going to pick them. But by the time you get to Kentucky, I think Maryland's going to have a tough time, and so I've got to put Kentucky moving into the Elite Eight.
All right, so we're going to move down here. Kansas doesn't like to play, doesn't want to play Wichita State, so this would be a great matchup if it happens in the Sunflower State.
A lot of pressure on Kansas, a little worried about Ellis and his knee problems, obviously their best player. But I think Kansas gets through up to here. I'm picking Notre Dame, which is coming off a great conference tournament. They look good. Grant in the backcourt is a really solid player, so I like the idea of Notre Dame getting through the Elite Eight.
All right, so let's go down to the West here. You've always been big on North Carolina. Even when they have struggled, you've stuck with North Carolina. So you've got them in a matchup against Wisconsin. What happens there?
Wisconsin's too tough this year. Kaminsky is playing great. They're an experienced team, and I think they get through.
You've got Baylor against Arizona, a potential rematch of what happened last year out West.
A lot of people are picking Arizona to get to the Final Four. They don't get as much attention because they're out on the West Coast, so we're all asleep by the time they play.
All right, let's move over to the East to advance teams to the Elite Eight. Villanova, #1 seed out of the Big East. Yeah. And you've got them taking on a Louisville team that's been a little depleted but is sort of reformatted without Chris Jones.
Tough pick because Pitino's such a great coach, but Nova looks good.
All right, so I'm intrigued by this potential rematch that happened last year, Michigan State and Virginia. And there's been some criticism about the style of play. College basketball has not been as fluid as we've seen in the past.
Well, I am an advocate, by the way, for the NCAA changing the rules in terms of shortening the shot clock, widening the lane, moving the three-point line back a little bit.
30 seconds?
It's a fast game. Let's get it down to 30 seconds at minimum. Having said that, I think Virginia gets through, despite the fact that I'm still worried about Anderson and how he's feeling.
I think that's going to be a great game. I've actually, by the way, have Oklahoma. Yes.
Good for you.
All right, so Duke, Georgetown.
Coach K's got great experience. Overall, I think by the time they get here, Coach K's stewardship will show.
All right, bottom part. Before you advance the winner of Iowa State-Davidson, this is supposed to be Mark Few's best team at Gonzaga. Why are you down on Gonzaga?
Yeah, I'm not down on Gonzaga. There's going to be an upset somewhere. Either a #1 or a #2 is not going to make it to the Elite Eight. And when I looked through the list, I thought, who's maybe the most vulnerable?
Iowa State versus Davidson. Iowa State's been the comeback kids, a couple of comeback victories in the Big 12 tournament, back-to-back.
Yeah,
they look very strong.
I think Iowa State gets through.
All right, let's go to the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four. Kentucky, Notre Dame would be a great game, hopefully very high scoring if Notre Dame can make shots.
Luck of the Irish runs out right here. I think Kentucky beats them. They just got too many guns.
Wisconsin, Kentucky last year in the Final Four. What are the chances that happens?
I think Arizona beats Wisconsin.
All right, let's go to the other side. Villanova against Virginia. Who do you have?
I think Nova gets through. And I think down here, Duke gets into the Final Four.
Kentucky versus Arizona. A lot of pundits would say that Arizona might have the best chance to knock off Kentucky. What do you think?
I'm not a pundit, but I agree that Arizona has the best chance to upset Kentucky, but I don't think they quite pull it off. I think Kentucky moves on. I suspect I will not be the only person who makes that pick.
Correct. All right, Duke versus Villanova. That'll definitely be a game that's going to be up and down.
This one, I'm going to pick what may be seen as a mild upset, although Nova, obviously is ranked high. It hasn't gotten as much attention, doesn't get as much airtime. But this, I think, may be Nova's year to get to the finals.
All right, so we have a Kentucky-Villanova final on April 6th. What are the chances that Kentucky wins its second national championship under John Calipari and goes 40-0?
The chances are high. And I'm putting Kentucky in here. Kentucky obviously has as good of a chance as any team. They are prohibitive favorites, and for good reason.
I agree with you. Kentucky, 40-0.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thanks, Mr. Thank you.
Pressure's
This is going to
on.
be the year, guys. I'm winning the pool.